Welcome back to the vlog. 24-hour shift, baby. Let's go. We got surfboards. I live in the best city in the world. It's about 11 p.m. Good night. Good morning. 24 hours in the books. This little guy.
Just remember,
this is the life we chose, baby. Let's get it.
So my paycheck this month was...
Welcome back, vlog. It's time for another week in the ICU. Let's get it. Hey, Bubba's. Hey, Chewy. Big yawn. Fit check of the day. I don't know what you guys expect. This is my only outfit. Let's go to work. All right, guys, welcome back to the vlog. Like I said, it's a new week in the ICU, and we're starting this vlog off with a call shift. That's right, we're starting off the week with a 24 to 28 hour shift. Not sure which one, kind of just depends on if I'm gonna need to stay through rounds tomorrow. But your boy is the resident on call tonight, so it's gonna be a long day. It's definitely a tough way to start the week, and I have another call shift on Saturday, so it's gonna be a long one. But you know what? This is the life we chose, baby. Let's get it. I definitely feel better than I did last week, which was my first week, so that's progress. I need to go meet the team for rounds, so I'll catch you guys later. Man, I can't believe I'm not gonna be outside again until tomorrow morning. Pretty cheeks, not gonna lie, but this is the life we chose, baby. All right, guys, a little bit of a time skip. It's actually about 11 p.m. at night. I know not a lot of vlogging, but during the day, there's really not a lot to vlog because ICU is just kind of the same routine every single day. You start off with signing out with the night team, and then you pre-run on your patients. You do rounds with the ICU team and attending. Then after rounds, you catch up on notes. And then we spend the day seeing any consults. A lot of what we get here in the neuro ICU are post-op neurosurgical patients. So patients that just got some sort of procedure, usually involving the brain, for example, and they need very close post-op monitoring after those procedures are done. Or we have patients from the floor that are having a change in mental status because of some sort of intracerebral problem, and so they need more frequent monitoring than they were getting on whatever unit they were on the floor. Honestly, anything that involves a brain is very interesting. We get things all the way from strokes to seizures to intracranial masses, bleeds, all that kind of stuff. Very cool, honestly. I think most people would agree that neurology related stuff is cool from a healthcare perspective. Obviously, you have to think about the patients and the families involved. Not cool for them, of course. You always have to remember that. But very important for us to get a lot of experience in this kind of stuff during our residency training. Anyway, like I said, it's about 11 p.m. So I am on my call shift. As you can see, I'm in the neurocritical care workroom, and I'm kind of just hanging out. It's just me and the neurocritical care phone. This is where I will get any pages or texts from other team members, physicians, nurses, whoever, and that's my responsibility all night, is to manage this floor. Around 7 or 8 p.m. we do a lap and kind of just check in on everyone and do one last run through with our attending. And then hopefully for the night, the idea is that everyone's tucked in. We've communicated with the nurses so that they have everything that they need for the night. And we just try to get through seamlessly without stirring up too much trouble. But hospitals are a 24/7 gig. We don't close. Anything could happen at any time, and that's why we're here all night. I'll keep you guys updated if anything exciting happens. Normally we have some candy in this bowl, but it's looking pretty sad tonight. Luckily I've got a couple snacks with me, some Belvita bars and another Gatorade protein bar, and that's what's gonna get me through the night. Over here we have a random central line kit and a percutaneous sheath introducer set. This is what we use if we need to do surgical airways. And here's a bunch of goodies as well. We got an art line kit, got face mask. I guess you never know when you're gonna need that stuff. Resident workrooms are always interesting places because kind of just end up with a bunch of stuff laying around that, you know, some of it's educational, but then other things are more like this little guy just sitting there. Like every unit's workroom says a lot about the personalities of the residents and attendings that work out of them. All right, this is my bed for the next few hours. Good night. Good morning, guys. About 5:30 a.m. I got a couple hours of sleep interrupted by pages every maybe half hour to an hour, but still some sleep nonetheless. I'm gonna head down to the unit and get a couple things done and work on the sign out for when the day team gets here in about an hour and a half. And then I get to go home. All right, baby, we are done. 24 hours in the books. Not bad. Hey, puppies. Hey, Chewy. Hey, Noya. Hey, everyone. All right, guys. So one of the best things to come home to after a 24-hour shift is a paycheck. At my program, we get paid monthly, and yesterday was September 1st. So we got paid, which is always a really good feeling. I talk a lot about my salary as a resident and just money in general on this channel. And a lot of you guys seem to like it. We've kind of built out this like sub niche of like finance and just like resident salary advocacy here on this channel, which I really like. I think it's really important. There's a very small percentage of you guys that are like, why do you talk about money so much? That shouldn't be all you care about. It's not all I care about. It's definitely not all I care about, but it does matter. Money and finances do matter. And medical students, residents, and attending physicians tend to be a little bit more financially illiterate because of the fact that we don't make money for such a long time. But I think it's important to talk about, and not a lot of people are talking about it. I think we're really kind of paving a pathway for resident salary transparency with this channel. I've seen a lot more people open up about it since we started doing it, which is really awesome to see. So I'm gonna keep on sharing. So my paycheck this month was $5,565.43. Not bad, not bad. That's after taxes for an $89,311 salary. Now, because it was the first of the month, some of that money is going towards my rent, which I pay $2,550 for. Then we have gas, electric, water, internet bills that will all be towards the end of the month, and that'll go towards that as well. So I'll ultimately get to keep like maybe half of this, maybe a little bit less than half. If I'm working a bunch of 12 hours and 24-hour shifts, it is typically hard to spend your money as a resident, although I tend to treat myself a little bit more than I should. I tend to eat out a lot, get myself a lot of food. The other day, I actually bought a Nintendo Switch 2 in anticipation of the new Pokemon game coming out next month, so I tend to err on the side of treating myself a lot. But I think you have to. I think it's important as a resident that, you know, save, make sure that you're not like financially doomed and don't have money for rent, but after this much training, we deserve to treat ourselves for sure. I like to break it down into an hourly, even though I'm salary, and I'm not exactly sure how many hours I'm scheduled for on my critical care rotation, but I only have 4 days off, working a bunch of 24-hour shifts, 12-hour days. So let's just call it 80 hours a week because that's the maximum we're allowed to report anyway as residents. So if we divide that by 80 hours a week for a full month, that comes out to about $17.40 an hour. This is for someone who has a doctorate level education with an entire year of internship under their belt, who was responsible for an entire neuro critical care ICU last night. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, seems like a lot of responsibility for the pay. But that's resident culture, man. It hasn't changed in a long time. But we can look at how much money I'll make when I'm done with residency, all thanks to the sponsor of this week's vlog, Merit. I've talked about Merit a lot, both on this channel and on TikTok, and I absolutely love Merit. In fact, their views just align so closely with mine. Merit is a completely anonymous, community-powered, salary-sharing platform built by clinicians for clinicians. It's got over 13,000 real physician and APP salaries updated in real time as people add their own info. Now let me actually show you guys. So I can go to merithealth.com
And as you can see, there's just a list of different salaries, but let's look up my specialty, anesthesiology. As you can see, the average salary for anesthesiologists in the United States is about $541,000 per year. But I'm rotating through critical care, so let's look up anesthesiology, critical care. And here you can see the average salary for anesthesiologists who do fellowship in critical care is about $532,000 per year. So as a resident working in the critical care unit, I'm making about $90,000 per year, while the attendings are making over $500,000 per year. So that's pretty much what I have to look forward to when I finish residency. And it's good to know these numbers because eventually I'm going to have to sign contracts, right? And I'm gonna need to know what my colleagues are getting paid so that I can negotiate for a competitive salary. And you can see that the salary varies based on where you live in practice. All of these salaries have extra data, for example, the actual workload, responsibilities, the average amount of hours per week, the call schedule, and then benefits like PTO, insurance, retirement, malpractice, which is all stuff you need to take into account when you're looking at the salary you'll make as a physician. You can't just look at the number. All these other things matter as well. And that's why I really like that Merit collects all this data, because it's really hard to find this anywhere else. Now, you don't learn anything about this during medical school, and you definitely don't get this level of transparency. And it's not just anesthesiologists, clinicians from pretty much every other specialty have contributed their salary data to Merit. And you can see data for NPs, PAs, CRNAs, anesthesiology assistants, midwives. Pretty much everyone is contributing their data, and I think it's really, really cool and is building this salary transparency culture, which again really lines up with the views of my channel. Merit's been really helpful for me as a new doctor just starting out, because even though I won't be signing my attending contracts for another couple years, it definitely helps me know what I have to look forward to, and is just keeping me really grounded in terms of what competitive salaries are currently. It also just keeps you motivated to keep on pushing through these long 24-hour shifts. And like I said before, a lot of new grad residents and attendings are really financially illiterate, and because of that, they tend to get taken advantage of when they're signing their first contracts coming right out of residency. And it's because they don't know better, so Merit's really helping with that. If you're a physician, NP, PA, CRNA, I highly recommend that you contribute your own data to Merit. It's quick, fully anonymous, and really helps increase salary transparency for everyone else in healthcare. You guys can head to merithealth.com or click the link in my description to get started. And thank you so much again to Merit for sponsoring this week's vlog.
All right, we are post-call and I wanted to get some fresh air, so I decided to take the e-board out, which, if you guys remember, I used to love riding these things around, but it's been so long since I have. But California is the perfect place to ride these. It's such a fun way to go outside. Not sure if I told you guys yet, but look. We got surfboards a couple weeks ago. Really trying to lean into the San Diego stereotypes. You can even tell we've been going to the beach by the towels that are drying in the garage. Mark my words though, I will get good at this, just probably not anytime soon. All right, we are ending this post-call day with a little bit of sunshine cardio. Just a couple miles, nothing too crazy. I don't want to go too hard because I definitely am not optimized in terms of sleep, but still feels good, man. Any amount of sunshine feels good. I live in the best city in the world to go outside, so I've definitely been trying to take advantage of that while I've been doing residency here. I'm gonna finish up and get home, and that'll conclude this post-call day. Morning guys, happy Wednesday. So we're out of the clinic today. It is a resident education day, so we have 8 hours of simulation training and didactics. Today's focus is pediatric anesthesia, so a lot of today will involve talking about pre-oping pediatric patients, airways, medications, everything basically. Should be fun, but it's still gonna be a long day. Let's get it.
So if anyone wants to do like feedback solutions, I'm usually that person. Yeah. But just remember that they're going to be in stage 3+.
Labor Day, nonetheless. All right guys, I am home now. We did 4 hours of sim training, including going through
the induction of a pediatric patient, as well as dealing with things like laryngospasm, bronchospasm, anything that could happen when you're doing just anesthesia in general, but specifically to pediatric patients. And then we did 1 hour of in-person lecture, and then we were given some time to drive home, and now we have like 3 more hours of lectures over Zoom. So I'm gonna hop on to a Zoom call for the next few hours, and then around 4 o'clock I should be done.
The ribs can fall inward a lot easier and leads to the chest wall. There tends to be a lot more floppy and wants to go in during inspiration rather than holding out this.
Good morning, guys. So today's Thursday, and today's actually my one scheduled day off this week. I found the perfect day because Tuesday I was post-call, which, I mean, yeah, I worked like 8 hours from like midnight to 8 a.m., right? I was still working at the hospital that day. But then yesterday was our education day, which, again, still work. We still had 8 hours of training, but you kind of gaslight yourself into feeling like those education days are kind of a day off because you're relieved from clinical duties, but you still worked. But this is just what I'm going to tell myself. So having my day off today just makes this week feel so much more chill compared to last week. I haven't decided what I'm going to do today. I'm either going to just get a bunch of rest because I feel like I genuinely need it, or maybe I'll be productive and get some work done or get some exercise. I don't know. Haven't really decided yet. I do think I'll spend a couple more minutes in bed because it's not very often I get to lay in bed while the sun is out. See you guys later. All right, I ended up getting super carried away playing Fortnite with my friends, so now I'm getting some work done. Let me show you the setup. I'm doing some editing for the vlog that you guys are watching right now. This is my Notion where I organize everything for the vlog and YouTube channel. Got some Pokemon ranked going on the side right there. Almost like forgetting to vlog today because I don't normally have days off in the middle of the week. So I'm kind of just not used to vlogging my days off, but this kind of is what it looks like, you know, playing some video games with my friends, getting some work done for the social media stuff because I do this, you know, kind of as like almost like a part-time side hobby thing, but still takes up some of my week. In fact, I even have a meeting in an hour with one of the channel's sponsors. So it's something I have to actively work on and think about. I try to do that on my days off so I can kind of get ahead for the week so I don't have to worry so much about it during my work days. So are my days off even really days off? Probably not. That's the life we chose, baby. All right, I'm gonna get back to work. All right, I just went for a little 2.5 mile run. Nothing too crazy. I was gonna do a longer run today, but some of my co-residents invited some of us over because they got a new fire pit, so they thought it'd be nice to have some of us over to kind of just hang out and check out their crib and the new fire pit. So I'm going to shower up and head over there. All right, guys, just got home from hanging out with some of my co-residents. Overall, pretty good day off. I woke up and played some video games with my childhood friends, got some work done, got some exercise in, hung out with some co-residents. It was a very balanced day off and the exact kinds of day offs I like to have. And it was kind of nice to be able to share one because I don't normally get to share my days off on my vlogs because normally I'm working through every work day. So that was actually really nice that I got to take you guys along for one. But tomorrow's Friday, so I'm back in the ICU. So I'm gonna go get some rest and I'll see you guys in the morning. Happy Friday, guys. Last 3 days felt super weird because I did not spend a lot of time doing clinical stuff, but that's just because of the way that my post-call education day and day off worked out. Now we're back to reality. I'm in the resident workroom and we're gonna see some ICU patients today. Yo, we are done, baby. All right, guys, like I said, I am done for the day. It's only 3 p.m., which is really, really awesome. We had a pretty straightforward day. We did rounds, and then our attending gave us an hour-long lecture on large vessel occlusions, and then we basically were just managing orders and stuff and finishing notes and tucking things in for our patients on the floor. We had a couple post-op patients to go see. Nothing too complicated, just some post-op monitoring for 24 hours in our ICU. And then since I'm not the late resident, I was able to sign out to the resident that is on call for the rest of the day and night and get out of here, which is really, really awesome. My team really has a good culture of trying to get residents out if we feel like our list is manageable, or if the resident on call or the late resident feel comfortable taking over. You try to help each other out, and it really does come down to the culture of your team and your program, which I gotta say, I really like mine. Overall, this was kind of a weird week. Like, I don't normally have this many non-clinical days during the week. Normally my days off are like weekends, so like days I don't vlog, so you guys don't really see those in my vlogs. But again, this week was weird because I had a post-call Tuesday, pure sim and didactic education day Wednesday, which again, it's not a day off, neither is the post-call day really, but just the way that it works and not being clinical, like it kind of just feels like it, like you gaslight yourself into calling it a day off because of the fact that you're just not at the hospital. So again, weird week, but I am really glad I was able to take you guys along for that because it's not something I've gotten to show in my vlog that much, and it kind of just shows that the resident work schedule is variable, and a lot of the times our days off and what we consider our weekends are not actually weekends, right? And this is kind of the first time during residency that it's kind of fallen on my schedule like that. That being said, even though it's Friday, I don't start my weekend because tomorrow I work and it's actually a call shift and I don't have buddy call anymore. So it's just gonna be me in the ICU tomorrow night after I am there during the day. So 24 hours call shift tomorrow, but then I'll be post-call Sunday, and then next week's day off is after my post-call day, so Monday. So it's kind of a nice way to start the week. So what I'll probably do is start next week's vlog with tomorrow's shift. Maybe, I feel like that makes the most sense. That way you guys can come along for that call shift with me, but I'll decide all of this tonight or tomorrow. That being said, I do need to edit this video this afternoon and get it uploaded tonight because I won't be able to do it tomorrow since I'll be on my call shift, and I don't want to rely on the hospital's Wi-Fi to try to upload the vlog because I've tried to do that in the past and it ends up not working out because usually it's a bit too slow to upload YouTube videos. So with that said, I'm gonna end the vlog here, but I want to thank you guys so much for joining me in another week in residency, and I will see you guys next time.